Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today talking about our new GM, Ryan Poles. We're going to keep this short, sweet, to the point. He's not going to be good. His name is Ryan. The last guy's name was Ryan. Obviously, it's not going to work. Just kidding. But Ryan P. I don't know. But let me be very clear up top. And I know, again, you might not want to hear it. This is the truth. This is the channel where you come for the truth, hopefully, because I'm not about to cheerlead or do all this other sports media stuff. And if you know me, you know it's not only Better Bears fans, but I started this because sports media is terrible. It is absolutely terrible, especially when it comes to football. And so I just want to do something a little more authentic. So the truth of the matter is nobody knows. I don't care what you say or hear. You don't know because Ryan Poles doesn't know. He has not been a GM. And so this idea that we can look at what if the Chiefs done? Oh, well, who does he know? Or what he said, I heard in an interview, he said this. He's going to come out and have a press conference. He's going to say some things. McCaskey and them going to come out in a press conference. They're going to say some things. Guess what? None of that matters. Literally nothing that they say matters. And, bless the heart of these fans that sit here not year after year, but regime after regime and have the same mindset, which is crazy to me. It's like, well, because the same thing happened when we hired Ryan Pace and and Nagy. I poked at this and that. You don't know. He said this, and I'm hopeful. That's fine. Okay, if you want to just go off face value of what they say, that's fine. But if you want to go off the actual facts of the whole history of the NFL, the things have to play out in real time. So just like the draft, exactly like the draft, you're not going to know until 3 years down the line. And so until he starts doing things, you don't know because he doesn't know. It doesn't matter if he says, oh, I envision to do it like this. My main goal is to do that. It does not matter until he gets in that seat to make those decisions that he has not made before. That's when we're going to find out. And so I get it. People want something to talk about, especially because the Bears aren't in the playoffs and they realize laughing about the Packers seems stupid because we didn't even make the playoffs. But people want something to talk about. And so I get that you're going to listen to every little nugget. I would urge you to really not lose focus because this is what people do. Because I get people flip back and forth. I get comments. I get all this type of crap. My stuff has been consistent down the line. And so from the moment Pace got hired to the moment till today, it's been the same down the line because you have to look at the overall perspective. So look at the overall perspective. Pace at one point wasn't here. He was the new guy. And you thought all these things. And then you looked at how it materialized. Realized, just like in a game, it has to play out. And so with this person, people are going to talk today. I'm sure they have been. They're going to talk tomorrow. He might have his press conference tomorrow, but they're going to talk. Oh, he said this. Oh, he was there when they picked Mahomes. Oh, he was there when they did this. Oh, he must have been responsible for this. Oh, the Chiefs like to do this with their contract, so we're going to be more like that. No, absolutely not. He could come out to be a GM that's exactly like the Chiefs GM. He could come out to be a GM that's the polar opposite. It does not equate to each other. Same thing with Ryan Pace coming from the Saints. We didn't do everything like the Saints did. He's going to be his own GM, and we just have to wait and see what that is. And that's the facts. And nobody likes to hear that like anything else. In the draft or anything else, we want to answer. Even though 99% of these answers have nothing to back it up with. So I'm going to just tell you the truth. We don't know. That's the answer to it. Now, for me, you can ask the question, and I think a lot of people are. They're in the second round of interviews with some head coaches. It seems, according to the sources, that Dan Quinn, Jim Caldwell, and the Colts, DC which I don't know how to pronounce his name. Plus, if I did, I don't think people know who he is. So I say the Coach DC. Those seem to be the final candidates. And so some people would say, well, why did we get the GM and we're already setting up second round? Shouldn't he have had input, blah, blah, blah? I think those are good questions. Now, you know me personally, I don't think this whole GM before the head coach makes any sense. And so I don't really care about that. But if that's the route you're going, if you're doing the structure where one's going to report or he's going to report to the head coach and then up whatever, then it seems a little odd that you pick the finalists before you pick the GM. But hey, that's how we do things. And so a number of teams are doing it that way too, but most teams that are looking for people right now aren't in good spots. So maybe it doesn't make sense. But that's what we're doing. I think that's a fair question. But again, the process has been done without this guy. He just got on board. And so I don't think there's going to be any strong ties or any situations like that. Obviously, he might have connections through different things, but I don't think it's going to be a situation where he's pulling his own guy or pulling the strings. And maybe that's a smart thing. Maybe they said, hey, these are the people we're comfortable with. And so now we're going to allow you to make the choice from there. Maybe that's a smart thing. So you give an extra layer instead of letting them pick the candidates and all that. But either way, that seems to be the case. We could talk about head coach all day, but I'm not in love with those choices. But we'll see. And so, again, as far as him as a GM, I mean, we'll just have to see. If you haven't looked into it, the man was undrafted, didn't really play anything. Ended up going back to Boston College where he played. Did a year there recruiting. Went to the Chiefs as an assistant scout and rolls up through the ranks. So, and he's stupid young. He's 36 years old, which maybe didn't seem super young at one point, but now for me that is very young. And so he's 36 years old. And please keep in mind, because yes, you get to say he's the executive director of player personnel. Just like you said, Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, realize that he only did that this season, just like Matt Nagy only did that offensive coordinator position for that season. Or, I don't think it was just for that season, but he had play calling duties for that season. But Nagy was very young into it as well. So, not to say that that's an indictment on him, but again, just realize he's very young into this game. And I don't know how I feel about that. We'll see. To me, to be quite honest, there's very few teams where their cap savvy sticks out. Very few teams. Most teams, I would say 80% of it is the roster you have. And then a big chunk of it is the draft capital you have. And then after that is the cap savviness. Like, most people don't really pay a whole bunch of attention to it. And honestly, I don't think it correlates to a whole bunch of wins. The roster talent is what's going to matter. And seemingly teams that spend do well. Now, I will say the Chiefs, they did some super cap maneuvers. Part of that because Mahomes agreed to it, but they did some super cap maneuvers that stand out. But overall, I don't know that is a big indicator for most teams. With that being said, when you have teams that or GMs that come in from the scouting side, that's the question you have. What can they do with the cap? Obviously, you have a capologist. You could have whatever you want on your staff to help you. But that's one of the questions. And so, I mean, it's a beast. And I think part of the reason with most of this stuff that people speculate so much is because they don't know. You don't know what this person is, so people just talk endlessly about stuff they don't know. And part of that, people don't even know what the job of a GM is. Like, I know I got into it before. I was thinking about getting into it now, but I'm actually not. All I'm going to say is, obviously, you have to evaluate talent on some level and set up the scouting structure. You have to acquire talent, and so whether that's trade, free agency, blah, blah, blah. I got to balance the cap. And yeah, it was something else I was going to say. Obviously, you got to keep an eye on potential free agents, all that, and, just construct the roster. So there's a number of things, and no one GM is a master at it all, especially fresh out the gate. So there's going to be some learning curves, and we'll see what it is. I mean, again, Ryan Pace wasn't a GM before, and he came out aggressive doing things his way. I hope and expect that from this person, and that's about it. That's all we can really say. I'm going to be honest with you. If you just want some clutter and to hear something, let's go ahead and listen to this stuff. But the truth of the matter is, there's nothing we can say beyond what I just said there. Now, if he come out tomorrow and says, I'm not a fan of Justin Fields, we're going to do what it takes to move him. Okay, obviously those tangible things are newsworthy, but I expect them to just come out and say the same cliche. Not cliche, but the same boilerplate stuff. So that's it. The last thing I'll say is I appreciate all the people that are listening and that engage, like the people that stay engaged with the channel. As you know and I know, and as I said many times, I'm too busy to make this a thing. I'm not sitting here living off YouTube. I'm not sitting here, doing all the things that I could do to make the YouTube channel grow and try to go viral. And that's just not my bag. I mean, it's definitely a fun thing to do on the side and engage. And I appreciate everybody that stays engaged over the years. And I do feel guilty sometimes, wishing I could do more. So I would just say, if you're a long time listener, you stay engaged, you like the content, please don't hesitate to let me know what I can do. If there's something that I can do that will improve your experience or just make it a little more fun, again, I know the things you have to do to grow the channel, but I really just want to invest back into the people that are subscribed and loyal listeners. I have no problem setting up a Zoom chat with all of us because I don't think there's that many left. But, whatever. If it's something, just shoot it to me. And then, if I could do it, I will. So anyway, with that being said, go down to the comment section. Let me know what you think about this news. Share it around. Thumbs up, subscribe. And remember, stay up and bear down.